Hey there, I'm back to do another reaction to another trailer. This is Renfield. It says it's the final trailer, a red band trailer, whatever that means. So I don't know what a red band trailer means. Some kind of some kind of movie kind of talk. I don't know. This is coming out from Universal Pictures, and I saw from the thumbnail it's got Nicolas Cage in it. So let's just crack on and see what it's like.
Mr. Renfield, welcome. I am Dracula.
Okay.
Make a very good assistant.
No, he's evil. We will protect you. You are the word of the most trusted institution on earth, the Catholic Church.
Nasty. 50 years later. Okay, interesting. All right, so that's the start of it. You know, right? Renfield. What I know about Renfield? Renfield is from the Dracula story. He's like he's thrall, as they would call it in Skyrim. He's a thrall to the vampires. He's under their bidding, kind of thing. I remember in the books, he's a kind of horrible, like ferrety kind of guy who, like, he's like a freak almost, and he eats flies. I remember that he likes to eat flies in the book, and I think in the Gary Oldman version of Dracula from a few years ago. Is that 90s? I think he flies in that as well. But yeah, I think that's canon from the stories. So this is about Renfield, really, not really about Dracula. It's about his servant, his slave, more or less, who does his bidding. Let's carry on. 50 years later, then, if Renfield's still alive, I'm guessing that he also has prolonged life. I thought he would only have prolonged life from Dracula if he was bitten and turned into a vampire himself. So I'm not too sure. Maybe they're making up their own storyline, their own canon. Because I would have thought 50 years later he'd be an old man, even though he still is the vampire's thrall. He's not actually a vampire himself. So I wouldn't have thought would have eternal life. But let's carry on watching, eh? Oh, 90 years later.
Renfield, your sole purpose in life is to serve me.
He's still young.
Let's eat.
I just want a normal life again.
Yeah, 90 years is a long time to be just being Dracula's servant. Not sure if he's eating flies or not, but he's got eternal life though. And I thought one of the things with the thrall of the vampire was that they can go around in the daytime. That's why they have these servants to do their bidding, to help them when they, because they can't go out in the daylight themselves. So the idea of the thrall is to do that for them. But I don't know how they're getting around that he's not aged a day, because he's not undead, is he? He's just a human who's been under the mental control of Dracula. So yeah, that's not really been explained. I can imagine, yeah, doing 90 years of being vampires. Slave, for want of a better word, is yeah, that would get anyone's goat. I see that Nicolas Cage is doing his usual refined self. He's not overacting the heck out of the role again. No, he always does. He always seems to approach whatever role he does with gusto. Old Nicolas Cage.
No.
Oh, oh. Hold on. So in this story, flies give him strength. That's what it looked like. He ate a fly, and suddenly he's got power. That, like, his eyes changed. Like, his eyes. So obviously he's not a total human, because his eyes glowed yellow. Is he got some kind of low level vampirism granted him by Dracula, the way he can eat flies and get superpowers? I mean, what's going on there? But he's about to go. Yeah, he's about to go all Renfield on their asses. Ouch.
God bless you, Mr. Renfield.
Oh, God bless you, nuns. Here.
God bless you, nuns.
Let me explain.
So he's still talking like sounding old school, like periodical from 90 years ago. Obviously, his societal mores haven't changed. Like, he's not kept up with the times by the sound of it. He's still speaking in a kind of old English kind of way. So I'm guessing he's been separate from society, so his social skills are still the same as they were 90 years ago. They haven't developed because he's not been out in the world, I suppose. He's been too busy being Dracula's slave and doing Dracula's whim to maybe, I don't know, maybe, I was just guessing that by the way he talks. He doesn't sort of talk as if someone whose manners and so forth have changed for 90 years. That's what I'm guessing anyway. But anyway, carry on.
Explain. I work for Dracula.
Count Dracula? It's the real fucking Dracula!
Some call me the Dark One. Others, the Lord of Death.
So you bring him people to eat?
Well, I do other stuff.
Like what? Wash his cape?
The cape is dry clean only, strictly.
Yeah, where to see this fly?
You got nothing, such a bad guy. But you're never really gonna be free until
So that's out this month then. That's out this month. And looks like, so looking at the story, Renfield finds love by the looks of it. Well, I'm guessing it's a burgeoning fault. I mean, if he's been, it must have been a fairly dry fallow period for the last 90 years. You know, too busy looking after Dracula's whims, cleaning his cape and finding him victims to actually get any loving in, I'm guessing. Anyway, what's going to happen when she finds out he eats flies?
free until you face him.
I will no longer tolerate abuse. I deserve happiness.
Let me explain something to you, okay? You deserve only suffering. I will unleash an army of death. Everyone you care about will suffer because you betrayed me.
We have to stop him before sunset.
Stop serving. Start living. Yeah, I still can't work out why he's got all these superpowers though. That needs explaining. Because he was a kind of quivering, snivelling kind of creep in the actual books. I'm sure he didn't display, superhero levels of power. He's got sort of strength and power like equal to Dracula's almost by the looks of it. I forgot to mention, I do like the way he turned into smoke at the beginning and absolutely exploded that Catholic priest. When you think about it, one of the things they do say that certain law vampires can turn into smoke. So if you can turn into smoke and then go in someone's mouth and then turn back to your normal self, so yeah, that exploding kind of thing would happen, wouldn't it? But anyway, it looks like it's quite interesting and looks as I don't know if it's meant to be. It's kind of comedic, slightly comedic, but I'm not too sure how much of a comedy angle they're getting. There's definitely some overacting, kind of corny, but like kind of good corny acting by Nicolas Cage playing the playing the vampire king there.
I deserve happiness, and I take full charge of...
Actually, some of his fashion looks like it's based 90 years ago as well. His suits and that. Ouch.
You know when
Oof.
something crazy happens and someone's like, it's okay, I've seen way worse? Everything I saw you do today is gonna be my way worse.
It's my least favourite part of the job.
She's taken the fact that he's turned human beings into a pile of broken limbs and corpses pretty well, actually. I think I'd be on the floor gibbering and crying and lying in a pool of my own urine if I was to witness that. She's taking it on the chin. All props to her for being able to deal with that. She's taking it well. Right, that's out in a week's time, I think. About just under a week's time, I believe that's going to be coming out. So okay, that looks interesting. Obviously different to a lot of the vampire lore that we know and love. There are elements there. Is some definitely looking humour in there. A lot of questions to be asked about why he's so powerful, though. Why is Renfield suddenly this tank who can? I'm assuming he can soak up bullets, and the amount of damage he's doing there. I mean, that's kind of like always makes him seem like he's stronger than Dracula. Dracula's always been portrayed as pretty tough in most of the films, but not like ripping people's arms off tough, I don't think. But maybe, I don't know, maybe he has. Maybe maybe I need to read up some more. But yeah, that was interesting anyway. This would be quite fun. That's definitely one to look out for. Definitely would be interesting. Mind you, I kind of feel like I've seen the film now. It kind of, what was that? It's only 2.5 minute trailer, but I feel like I've watched most of it now. You know what I mean? I'm guessing he kills Dracula in the end and gets his freedom. End of story. But has he got eternal life now? Can he live forever? He was out in the daytime there. How can he survive in the daytime and have all the powers, or many of the powers that Dracula seems to have? Well, certainly he's got super strength and invulnerability by the looks of it, and long living. I don't know. Anyway, definitely one to watch and maybe find out. Anyway, what do you think of my reaction? Give me your reaction to my reaction in the comments down below. Give me a sub up if you want to check out some more stuff from me in the future, and you could do one of them as well if you like. That's always helpful. And maybe I'll see you again in the future for another reaction.